Good evening, Ed. Kyle Kashuv says he and some others were trying to be as extreme and shocking as possible when he used the N-word repeatedly, including about black student athletes. The offensive comments were made in a Google document that served as a chat space and was shared among several friends. But somebody retrieved the document and posted screenshots of it in a video on Twitter. Kashuv says at the time he was thoughtless and immature and that he made the remarks months before the Parkland shooting that killed 17 of his classmates. But it appears some former students at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School wanted nothing to do with his apology and took the matter directly to Harvard, asking the college to rescind Kashuv's admission. Kashuv then apologized to Harvard for the, quote, hurtful things he wrote, saying he's no longer the same person, especially in the wake of the shooting, and asked how he could right this wrong. It didn't help. In a letter that Kyle Kashuv shared publicly, Harvard wrote in part, quoting, as you know, the committee takes seriously the qualities of maturity and moral character. After careful consideration, the committee voted to rescind your admission to Harvard College. Kashuv now believes that he was targeted more for his politics than his offensive comments. Remember, in the wake of the Parkland shooting, he became a prominent media figure who supported gun rights and became the high school outreach director for a conservative group with ties to the Trump family. Today, he tweeted, quoting, after I issued this apology, speculative articles were written. My peers used the opportunity to attack me, and my life was once again reduced to a headline. It sent me into one of the darkest spirals of my life. In 2017, Harvard also rescinded admission for at least 10 students who shared sexually explicit and racist messages on Facebook. 2 other students who graduated this year from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High will be attending Harvard in the fall. Kyle Kashuv is unclear where he will attend.
All right, let's find out now. Trace, appreciate it. Joining me now in a story exclusive, the man himself, Kyle Kashuv. Kyle, good evening.
How's it going, Ed?
It's going well, but I want to talk to you. I want to get to Harvard in a moment, but I want to start with you. What were you thinking?
Well, at that time, it was really a friend group where who could say the most shocking thing and most extreme thing for the sake of shock value. And I'm extremely sorry for it. And I wish I could have taken it back, but I can't. All I can do right now is seek to right this wrong. And I know that forgiveness isn't given, it's earned. And I know that, you know, the person who wrote those things is not who I am today.
How do we know that? Because you certainly sound heartfelt, but you want to get something. You want to get into Harvard or get into another school? And how do we know that you're not just saying, oh, I didn't mean it?
It's a fair question. Because at every single possibility that I could have, ever since I become a public figure, I've condemned racism, I've condemned hatred. And that's why we've seen the alt-right come after me so hard, because I've condemned them for their racism and for their hatred.
Well, okay, so where does it come from when you say, in this chat room, you wanted to say the most outrageous thing? You could have said something about sex, you could have said something about drugs, you could have said something about any number of things. But in one case, as was mentioned, you typed the N-word 11 times in a row and said, and we have it on the screen, you said you were good at typing it because, quote unquote, practice, you see it at the bottom, practice makes perfect. You didn't use the N-word once. In one text, you used it 11 times. Where does that come from?
Look, what I said is indefensible and wrong, and I apologize for repeatedly. But what's also in that same message is I use anti-Semitic jokes. And I basically pray every week. I'm Jewish. My parents are Jewish. They immigrated from Israel. Half my family was wiped out in the Holocaust. So clearly, that's not indicative of who I am. I'm Jewish.
Right.
And I'm not anti-Semitic at all.
So on that point, you're Jewish. I can't question your faith or anyone's faith. But why in the world would you say, kill all the Jews was one of the things you said? You're Jewish. You just told me many members of your family were killed in the Holocaust, and I'm certainly sorry about that.